I want you to put out your eye.
The final episode of the first season was a traumatic experience for me, to be honest. Rhaenyra's troublesome labor had already shaken me, but the creators plunged me into more horror by showing Lucerys' death, an event that was probably the most brutal in the history of both House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. But the events that led to Lucerys' demise was also quite intriguing and interesting. Aemond reveals his blue eye, and fans cannot stop themselves from comparing him with the White Walkers. Some even going as far to say that he would be the Night King. However, is there any value to these theories, or are they simply an old wives' tale? Fear you not, because we're here to uncover all the mysteries that remain hidden behind Aemond's eye patch, and explore things like why he chose Sapphire instead of any other gemstone. If he really is a White Walker, what is the symbolism behind the Sapphire eye, and much more. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Why is Aemond wearing a sapphire eye? Well, anyone who has watched the show is well aware of how Aemond lost his eye during a fight with Laena's and Rhaenyra's children, but there's no harm in getting ourselves a small recap, is there? So, Laena Velaryon committed suicide by dragonfire when she realized that she would not have a normal delivery, and to evade the fate of Queen Aemma Arryn, she preferred begging Vhagar to kill her. In the book, Laena does deliver a baby but dies 3 days later while attempting to fly Vhagar one last time. In the show, the night after her funeral, a young Prince Aemond finds Vhagar and succeeds in mounting the dragon. Laena's children, Baela and Rhaena, witness this and wake Lucerys and Jacaerys, Rhaenyra's children from Laenor. Baela and Laena had presumed that Vhagar belonged to them as she was their mother's dragon, and the next thing we know, the kids broke into a fight. Vhagar's new rider had Prince Lucerys in one of his hands and a stone in the other. When he addressed Jacaerys as Lord Strong, effectively calling him a bastard, Jace lost his shit and pulled a knife on Aemond, who defended himself and would have killed Jace, had it not been for Luke, who slashed Aemond's face, leaving him blind in one eye. The event led to some serious confrontation between Alicent and Rhaenyra because the former wanted an eye for an eye, but King Viserys would not have it. He was faced with a similar situation that King Robert Baratheon had once faced while trying to resolve a matter between Arya Stark and Joffrey Baratheon. Nevertheless, Aemond went on to wear a sapphire eyeball to fill the socket left empty by Lucerys.
Now!
But why was it Sapphire and not some other gemstone? Well, Aemond was a skilled warrior and a man of history and philosophy. It is quite possible that he took inspiration from the legendary hero named Simeon Stareyes, who lived thousands of years ago during the Age of Heroes. Simeon was a knight who had suffered blindness, but he used sapphires to replace his eyeballs and hence earned the title of Star Eyes. In the times to come, Aemond would wear a patch on the sapphire eye so that he did not scare the ladies at court. However, when Lucerys and Aemond unexpectedly encountered each other at Storm's End, Aemond reveals his blue eye to intimidate Lucerys. And the plan did work because Lucerys was shaking in his bones because of the mortal danger he had found himself in. In the end, it all ended terribly for Lucerys and his dragon Arax, as an uncontrollable Vhagar chomped the young prince. While the entire sequence was horrific and traumatic to watch, one could not notice the similarity between the eyes of White Walkers and that of Aemond One Eye. Before we address the elephant or maybe the dragon in the room, let's explore why White Walkers have blue eyes, because that will give us a better perspective. Why do White Walkers have blue eyes? The second to the last episode of Game of Thrones Season 7 was a roller coaster ride filled with action, adventure, dragons, and death. It was here that the terrifying blue-eye army of the dead was revealed in all its morbid glory. Interestingly, the blue eyes of these White Walkers and their whites bear far greater significance than just serving as nightmares to the people of the North. In fact, they are more grounded in reality and science than previously known. According to science, having blue eyes in chilly and icy climates allow animals and humans better visibility in the darkness. Blue eyes were common among the Neanderthals, who lived in the colder parts of Europe, and it's an evolutionary trait that seems to have persisted even in today's time. Animals such as the reindeer lives in places where there are 24 hours of darkness for months, so a reindeer changes its eye color from golden brown in summer to deep blue in winter. The blue color of the eyes allows more light to get absorbed and helps in increasing visibility in dark surroundings. Now, if we connect this to the Game of Thrones universe, the White Walkers and the Whites live, or rather exist, beyond the Wall, a place that's worse than a cold desert with hundreds of miles of ice and cold and darkness. Now, much like the White Walkers, Aemond also has a blue eye, but there's a difference here. The White Walkers and the Whites actually use their blue eyes to see things, but Aemond does not. So, would it be right to say that Aemond's future in House of the Dragon would turn him into an undead monstrosity? Or is it just an old wives' tale? Something similar to the stories that old Nan used to tell the Stark children. Let's address the dragon in the room. When he pulls off his eye patch at Storm's End, he reveals the unnatural and uncanny blue eyes, and people immediately connected him to the Night King. However, Aemond is no White Walker. He is just another rich guy with a valuable gemstone to serve as a fake eye. However, Aemond is every bit a White Walker as far as his vicious personality is concerned. While growing up, Aemond Targaryen took his training from the likes of Sir Criston Cole, an epic warrior and swordsman who defeated people like Daemon Targaryen and Tyrnese. Naturally, Aemond was a fierce warrior. Secondly, he also studied history and philosophy, and was better suited to become king than Aegon, if knowledge was the only criterion for becoming king. However, Aemond was more influenced by her mother's desperation to supplant Rhaenyra, and the young prince developed a hot temperament after he lost his eye to Lucerys. Filled with a thirst for revenge, Aemond cared little for anything else. Much like the Walkers, Aemond One-Eye was not really the social type and enjoyed dictating others, being ruthless and intimidating people. But that does not make him an undead White Walker. The wildest theory could suggest that he could have become a White after he died while fighting Daemon and Caraxes. But that's a long shot. A very long shot. Also, in all probability, the White Walkers already exist somewhere beyond the Wall, but they are in hibernation, waiting for the opportunity to strike. And it is highly unlikely that someone could become a Walker just by dying with a fake blue eye. So, what does Aemond's Sapphire symbolize? I believe the sapphire eyes symbolize Aemond's transformation from a textbook example of a bully to a man who killed family members. Right after his blue eyes are revealed, he deteriorates into a kinslayer and works in accordance with the most murderous and irredeemable villains in the history of Westeros, the White Walkers. To sum it up, I believe that the blue eye does not mean he would become a White Walker, but that it is a sign of his fall from whatever grace he had left. It is a sign of his exacerbation into a corrupt, evil, and sinister man who would not shy away from destroying entire families and houses. But hey, that's just me. Do let me know what you have to say about it, and I'll be watching the comments section. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.